What are you hungry for? I wanted to be my own boss everywhere I worked because of the politics. I got fired. Some things happen to you, some things happen for you. Had I not been fired from WVKO radio station, had I not been fired, I would have never became a state legislator. Had I not been fired, I'd never produced specials for public television. Had I not been fired, I'd have never been paid $5 million to do a talk show by King World. Had I not been fired, I would have never been able to resign from the Ohio legislature and go back to Mamie to take care of my mother. I had promised her that she would not end up in a nursing home. She used to work in a nursing home and never wanted to go. I remember my sister calling me, "Leslie, are you sitting down? What's wrong with Mama?" "Mama has breast cancer. It's terminal." I said, "I'll be right there." "You don't have to come. You got nice nursing homes in here in Dade County." "Listen to me. No, I'm coming." I left immediately, my political ambitions, everything, and I rung the doorbell. A friend of hers named Mildred was there. She came to the door. "Whoa, Mildred said, "Mamie, Leslie's here. Leslie's here." And I heard my mother say, "I knew he would come. I knew my boy would come." Is there somebody that you love? Somebody that is so important to you that if something happened to them, they can count on your being there, of your showing up? I want you to think about that. I want you to put voice in the comments section, because it allows you to control your own personal economy. It allows you to create your own job. See, a job is what you get paid for. Your calling is what you are made for. 86% of Americans go to jobs that they hate. And at the same time, they don't want to get fired. That's what you call mixed emotions. Seeing somebody you hate drive off a cliff in your car. You sad that they're gone, but not, you're glad that they're gone, but not in your car. Couldn't they do something else? Use a bicycle or something? To drive off a cliff, not in your car. You glad they're gone, though. Let me tell you something. This thing called life. Helen Keller had a point. Life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. Bet on you. Tomorrow's not promised. If we don't know anything else, we know that the coronavirus has taught us how fragile life is. Don't leave here doing something that's not you. Take a chance on you. Give yourself a chance. I wrote the quote, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." My brothers and sisters, they thought I was crazy. And I am. Sometimes you gotta be out of your mind. Let that mind be in you. See, if there's gotta be another mind in you, then you got to be out of your mind, because that mind is not serving you. I want you, if you'd like to work with me, if you've heard my voice since you were a kid, and it touched you, it touched your heart, it expanded your vision of what was possible. If you were in a dark place and you just didn't think you could make it. William Hollis said to me, he's got a motivational message he put together, and I encourage you to get it. It's called, "I didn't come this far to come this far." He called me Pops. And let me share something with you. He's a bad boy up in here. And he said he was homeless and he heard my voice. I became his spiritual father. He heard my voice. And it brought him through a very difficult time. Jose Flores, he said, don't let your limitations become your standard. And Jose, who who is bound in a wheelchair, but buddy, he's now motivating and speaking to corporations and individuals and inspiring them, even though he's confined to a wheelchair, quadriplegic. His beautiful wife, Adrian. You're still here. There's so much more in you. Simba, you're more than that which you have become. This is not for everybody, though. At this stage of my life, at 75, I'm looking for people that are hungry. I'm looking for people who say, Les Brown, I'm the one. That's what I told Mr. Washington. You go on, you look at Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. You go all the way to the end. I followed him and told him when he got through speaking to some seniors in the auditorium at Booker T. Washington High School. I was a junior. I followed him down the steps. My mother was working in the cafeteria at this time. I said, "Sir, do you remember me?" "No." I said, "My name is Leslie Brown. My mother, Miss Mamie Brown, she works in the cafeteria. I'm a twin. I was in your class looking for MacArthur Stevens, and they called me DT, and I agreed with them, the dumb twin. And you came and looked at me and said, 'Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.'" And I was startled. I said, "Do you remember me now?" He said, "Yes." And I said, you said to them that they can make the school proud. They can make their families proud if they realize that they have greatness in them." I said, "I was there, but you're not a senior. You're a junior." I said, "I know, but I heard your voice, and I felt like you were talking to me." I said, can I make my mother proud?" He said, "Yes." I said, "But what about the fact that I failed math and English and history and going to summer school for the 5th straight year?" He said, "Your grades don't determine who you are. You just have to work harder." And he turned to walk away. I said, "Mr. Washington?" He said, "What is it now? You said if just one person heard your voice, that your being brought here from Stuart, Florida would not have been in vain." He said, "Yes." I said, "I'm the one, sir. I am the one." He said, "It's possible, Mr. Brown." He turned and walked away. I said, "Remember my name. I'm the one, sir. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, and one day you're going to hear my name again. I'm the one." And I'm sure he just dismissed it. You see the video, Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. I'm not going to end it for you, but it tells the full story. Here's what I'm saying. Some things happen to you. Some things happen for you. Keep the faith, baby. As Adam Clayton Powell, great congressman out of New York, once said. Keep the faith. Faith that has never been tested can't be trusted. Keep the faith, baby. Judge not according to appearances. Keep the faith, baby. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Keep the faith, baby. He said, I'll give you whatever you desire. Keep the faith, baby. I'll give you all that your eyes can see. Hold the vision of what you want to create. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Keep the faith, baby. Use your superpower, your power voice. A lot of people caught up in the drama, the politics, and all the stuff that's going on. Don't worry about what's going on in the White House. Worry about what's going on in your house. Because at the end of the day, You're only 6 inches from success. That's the distance from this ear to this ear. Develop your mind. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Most people are witnesses. They're watching television. They're fans. You want to be a player? Kid and play. I'm kid. You want to be a player? You want to be the person who stands for something, who will live a life that will outlive them? Let me work with you to develop your power voice. Let me shorten your learning curve. Let me share with you how I came from nothing to get here. You're watching me because you know in your heart of hearts what I've done, you can do plus more. Put voice in the comment section. There's somebody that you know that needs to hear this message. I want you to like this page and share it. Like it and share it. But I'm not just looking for anybody. I'm ready to close this thing out. I'm just looking for people that are hungry, that are serious, that are coachable. Because most people aren't. Most people don't know that they don't know, and they think they know. One of the worst things in the world to deal with: arrogance and ignorance. People who don't know and they think they know. Oh, behave, whatever. You have so much more to express. You're still here. Every day is a great day, as Orrin Hudson would say. If you don't believe it, try missing one. If you're ready to make more money, if you're ready to be your own boss, if you're ready to generate and control your own personal economy, if you're ready to advance your career, if you're ready to run for office and make a greater impact and to live a life that will outlive you, be a policy maker, put voice in the comment section. If you have some skills, some knowledge, you're a speaker, trainer, coach, and you want to make yourself stand out, name of the game today is attention. How to get attention, how to create an experience to hold the attention, and how to direct the attention. That's the name of the game. Put voice in the comment section. People are rushing to become a part of our training program, the leading program on the planet. I do it. I control it. I direct it. And if you can find somebody who's come from where I've come from and done what I've done and overcame what I overcame, I encourage you. Do it with them. Got somebody who can do it and accomplish what I have accomplished, becoming a dominant force in this industry? My hat goes out to you. This is not for everybody that I do. The Power Voice System. He who has ear, let him hear. If you could hear me in your heart, this is your time. You watch me up to this point, you know in your heart of hearts, these things ye shall do, and greater things shall ye do. You're ready for the greater work. Put voice in the comment section. Do it now. Don't put it off. Oh, I can't afford to do it. You can't afford not to do it. You know, people are talking about, how much does it cost? Don't worry about how much does it cost. Ask yourself the question. As a guy asked me, how much will it cost you if you don't do it? Had I not bet on me, had I not put my money where my mouth is, whew, oh my God, it cost me millions of dollars, literally. The clients I've had, AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM, it had cost me millions of dollars, and the lives that I could have transformed had I not bet on me. Everybody being practical and logical and reasonable say, you're wasting your time. There are over 3,000 members of the National Speakers Association. Sometimes in life, you've got to be unreasonable. That's why we're taught to walk by faith and not by sight. That's why we're taught to call forth those things that be not as though they were. Judge not according to appearances, but right judgment, right thoughts, right feelings, right emotions, right relationships, and right vision. Yeah, let everybody else follow all the drama that's going on. He said, I'll keep thee in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, not on thee in the drama. Drama will always be here. Always. Three kinds of people that will come out of this period where we are. There's a reckoning going on. There's a reckoning going on. Benjamin Franklin said nothing will change until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are affected. There's some good-hearted people who now see, whoa, these people weren't making this up. Wow. Oh my God. Who would have thought? These people have been getting away with murder, judge, jury, and executioner. That's not American. But you know what I found? Hate is more important and more powerful than many people's religious values, the sense of morality. Hate is more important. Isn't that interesting? How they hold the Bible. They don't read, as a man thinketh, so is he. As he continues to think, so he remain. The least that you do unto these, my brethren, you do it also unto me. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. Stand up for something. I had a saying when I was on WVKO radio station in Columbus, Ohio. Stand up for what you believe in, because you can fall for anything. And there are people right now. Just look around. Just look around. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. Don't try and figure it out. You can't figure out crazy. You can't do that. No. Leave it alone. Keep thine eyes single. Live your life to the fullest. Live a life that will outlive you, because you can. You were chosen out of 400 million sperm. You're a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. I'm looking for a few hungry people. We will vet you. And I'm 75, so I don't have patience for foolishness. I'm looking for people that are positive, that are passionate, that are coachable, that will listen, that's ready to be introduced to a part of themselves that they don't know. See, you can't read the label when you're locked in the box. Sometimes you need somebody to facilitate that process. You can't get there by yourself. All of us at different points in our lives are like what former heavyweight champion Joe Frazier said, like a blind man standing on a corner waiting for someone to lead him across the street. All of us have had our moments in the Garden of Gethsemane. Millions of people right now going through a tough time, nervous, can't sleep at night, fearful of being evicted or foreclosed on, or losing their jobs, can't get a good night's sleep. And your voice, a voice of hope, your voice, your story, the things that you've overcome and the things that you've gone through can become their guide, their survival guide to navigate these times where we are. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. He said he'll never leave us nor forsake us. Keep in mind, God's still in control. There's a scripture in my favorite book that says, in all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. At this point in where we are in the coronavirus, they're saying that every minute or 2 minutes someone dies from this coronavirus. It shows you how fragile life is. In all things, give thanks. And what I thought about yesterday, life hit me in the stomach. My oldest son called me in and he said, Dad, I'm the one that's going to have to tell you. And I said, what is it? My sister Serena, we believe that she has the virus. Let me tell you, I was like a little kid. I started crying immediately. You ever had a call that you didn't expect to hear what you heard on the other end? I wasn't prepared to hear that. And I want to break this word up. Thanksgiving. In all things, give thanks. That we have so much to be thankful for. And we should not just have one day that we express that gratitude. When I get up each day, I write down 7 things that I'm grateful for. Why? Because I believe having a spirit of gratitude is major. It's major. And every day we should be thankful. We're here because of God's grace and mercy. We are experiencing and enjoying things that we had nothing to do with our acquiring those things or being able to have those things a part of our experience. And even things that sometimes appear to be tragic. There are times we can look back and say, whoa, that didn't just happen to me, that happened for me. But it's also another place. Give, thanksgiving, thanksgiving. They have an article out today that hunger in America is surging. And so we have an opportunity not just to connect with family members and friends, but make it a priority to give. Even if we decide that we're going to help one person or one family, let this Thanksgiving be remembered for what we gave of ourselves. There was a guy on television that last year this time, his family was giving out food. And this year, his family needs food. And even that he received, he shared that. Now that's what you call the Christ-like spirit. Let that mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. That you're willing to give. This is a time to give forgiveness. A friend of mine said something that really stuck home with me. She said, the last time I saw the majority of my family members, because we've been so dysfunctional and so divided, it was at a funeral. Isn't it interesting that you can have a dispute with the family members, be angry with them, and when something happens to them, that goes out the window. Isn't that interesting? And so when we give forgiveness, when we are willing to have a bad memory, if there's a key to bringing families together, it's having a bad memory. Do you remember what you did? Yeah, but I want you to like this page and share it. I want you to like it and share it. And if you're willing to give of yourself in this day, in this age, give of your talent, your abilities, your story to create a greater world. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. When you are willing to give compassion and understanding and stand in the gap for somebody that can't stand for themselves. Speak for those who are voiceless. Give hope where there's despair. Oh my goodness. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. Thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord, for putting me in the position that I can give forgiveness, understanding, love, a meal, a smile, a kind word, write a letter to someone that's been a blessing to me. Write a letter to you, thanking you for what you have done for me that I did not earn or deserve. No, it's not all about the turkey. No. It's about all being grateful. Oh, having the spirit of gratitude every day. From this day forward, if you're not doing it already. When you get up in the morning, I say all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. And then I write down 7 things that I'm grateful for. 7 things that I thank God for. And I feel good. After I finish, I feel real good. You're going to feel good too. I thank God for you. I thank you for listening to this message and thank you in advance for your giving. Thanksgiving, giving, love, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, giving of yourself, of helping someone. Those people who are standing on corners with signs, don't just ignore them. Surprise them and make my day. I was in New York and one of my daughters, Samaya, guy came up to the window and she gave him some money and he walked away with such a bounce in his walk. She was around 9 years old. I said, what did you give him? She said, the $50 you gave me. I said, no wonder he walking with a dip. Oh my God, he was doing, hey. Oh boy, this thing called life, it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. We woke up this morning. It's a wonderful day, as Warren Hudson would say, the best day of your life. You don't believe it? Try missing one. Thanks. Thank you so much, Lord, for allowing me to still be here, not taking a dirt nap. Say thank you, Lord. And give of yourself. Give of your time, your love. Give forgiveness. And forgiving is not holding back in terms of, well, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. No. Forgiving is remembering without anger and revenge and guilt. It's a beautiful day that we are experiencing now, and tomorrow it's going to be great. I'll be seeing my family virtually. My computer that does not sneeze and it's not asymptomatic, and it won't cough on me. Listen, are you thankful for what God has blessed you with your voice, your ability to take charge of your life, that you just haven't had the courage to use your voice to strike out and do something that's you, this talent that you have. As Dr. Miles Monroe says, rob the cemetery of your voice. Rob the cemetery. Don't take it with you. No, 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 no. There's some people waiting to hear you. Rob the cemetery of your voice. There are people who need your voice. There's a frequency behind every voice. And we have a program that will teach you how to use that voice to transform audiences individually and collectively. People need hope right now more than ever before. And when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. People need a voice that helps them to keep the faith, baby, because these are challenging times and people need to know no test, no testimony. Faith not tested can't be trusted. And your voice will help them to realize, stop looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. You are the light of the world. Let me pull that voice out. Let me show you how to organize those stories and create special moments and experiences with an audience and command standing ovations and make some money too, baby. Oh, behave. Hello? And have a lot of fun. Wouldn't it? I mean, just think about it. Doing something you love to do 8 hours a day at the comfort and safety of your home at the computer. Don't get better than that. Come on now. Doing something you love from home, except for the children sometimes. Don't y'all make me come back there, Tyrone. Put voice in the comment section if you are ready to answer the call on your life. The job is what you get paid for. The calling is what you're made for. Allow me to be your mentor. It's no accident that you're watching me right now. You hear me in your heart. You know it's time. It's time. And pray for my daughter and my son-in-law, the greatest son-in-law in the world. Pray for them. I'm believing God that they're going to be just fine. But when I first heard it, it was a punch in the gut. And I heard these words, faith not tested can't be trusted. This is a test. Why are you crying? This is a test. Get yourself together and let her hear your voice and know that you're not afraid, that you know that she's going to, and he's going to get through this.
Let's go ahead and we're going to start with the good. We'll start with the good. And it's okay here. This is an opportunity for you to go ahead and blow your own horn. Tell us some of the successes. Tell us some of the things that have really made big impacts in your life and what it's been like to be a life as a speaker. John, why don't you go ahead and share first?
First of all, when I think of the good, Paul, I think, well, let Les do that. He's got a lot of good stories, but when you get down to ugly, I major in ugly, all right? I really do. Let me just say this. The good all starts not by what I ever did or whatever I ever accomplished. The good starts when I heard my friend Zig say in 1974, if you'll help other people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. That changed my life. Because up until that time, I thought as a speaker, communicator, it was my goal to get them to where I was and to get on my train and to buy into my vision. And it just changed every part of my approach to how I communicated with people. And if I've had any honors or blessings, I can tell you it's because I really didn't try to put, I don't want to sound overly humble, but I didn't try to put myself first, and I didn't try to put my agenda first. I tried to put the people's agenda first. And that changed my life. And I've been privileged to do a lot of things. And maybe the greatest honor was a couple of years ago when I did the opening session at the United Nations. And to speak to the ambassadors. And I have a nonprofit organization, as you know, Equip, that's in 175 countries, training leaders. And to be able that day to communicate to them about being people and leaders of trust and speaking for an hour and a half and then receiving a standing ovation from them was really a highlight for me. But I thought, again, even that day in the audience that I had, I would have never been there unless I would have heard Zig teach me and I would have listened and changed and put other people first. So all the good stuff, the places I've been, all the awards, all that stuff, it's all because I understood how to put people first when I communicated. And people, when you speak to them, Les, you know this, they can tell if you're for them or if you're for yourself.
Yes.
They can tell what your agenda is within the first 5 minutes.
Les, why don't you share some of the good times?
The good time for me, I was thinking, I listened to Zig and Earl Nightingale. Those are mantras. The voices of their voices in my head, and they just helped to overcome a tremendous inferiority complex that I had, because I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and failed in the 8th grade and I have no college training. But I had this high school teacher who said, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. But there's something that Earl Nightingale said. He said, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it.
I love that one.
Yeah, and so that stuck with me, and I've had some great experiences. I remember speaking in the Georgia Dome for Dexter Yeager.
Oh, yes.
And did a speech called "It's Not Over Till I Win" for 80,000 people. And to have that experience and being at that large venue, that was very inspiring. And also I produced like 8 specials for public television, and these are things that I never thought would happen. Just focusing on helping people to change their lives and helping them to live beyond the labels that had been placed on them. That, to me, has been extremely rewarding, being able to touch and transform lives.
Well, I can tell you, I can remember when I first saw you, it was in Knoxville. It was at an Amway convention. And I had muscled my way down towards the front, and I remember you saying, you got to be hungry. You were giving that talk. And I said, I want to do what he's doing. Yeah. And I hid that for 18 years. And then I remember when I first saw you, and I'll never forget, it was in West Palm Beach. We were actually Delray Beach in a Marriott at the ocean. It was the first time I saw you speak. I had heard about you, I read your books, and you said to me, you said to me, there was hundreds in the audience.
I said it to you.
But it was to me.
I sure did.
You said to me that the 2 most important days in your life is the day you were born, the day you knew why.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I really got serious about defining my purpose. And I would imagine when you speak about the successes and the good times you've had, it's a small representation of the people who you've touched. When you're speaking to the leaders at the UN or the 80,000 lives that you touch, there's children and wives and spouses and grandchildren whose lives you've changed beyond just the people in the audience. Yes. What an awesome.
That's true. Well, you're never just speaking to the people you're speaking to. You're speaking to the people that all those people influence. So I always tell people, whatever your audience number, multiply it by 10. And you've got probably an understanding of who you're really talking to within the next 3 to 4 days. It does multiply.
Right. Yes. Well, there's aspiring communicators who are watching this video, and there's speakers out there who really want to make an impact, who want to have the life that you've created, and they're not quite at your level. Will you share what were some of the things that maybe you did or that maybe they can do now? If they're aspiring, maybe they're struggling to get to the level where you're at. What would be the 1 or 2 things of word of encouragement or piece of advice? Maybe it's, practice, practice, practice. Maybe it's continue to speak. I remember, Les, when you and I had an opportunity to speak several times, even on days when we weren't scheduled to speak, you would go speak at a prison because you said speakers speak, and I'll never forget that. So for those who are aspiring, what would you say to give them a word of encouragement to keep going, John? Or
well, I would say be yourself. Be yourself. Sitting on the stool reminds me of that because it took me several years to understand that if I communicated on a stool conversationally, that I was more effective than if I stood. Now, I don't think that's true for you. I don't think that's true for you, but that's true for me. And then I say, once you get comfortable in your own skin, and it took me a long time. I don't know if it did you, Les, but it took me a long time to do that. I wasn't naturally comfortable in my skin when I spoke in the beginning. But once you become comfortable in who you are, in your own skin, then be the best self that you can be. And that comes to the practicing and watch the other great communicators and learn from them. But you can't really be the best that you can be until you figure out who you are. So it starts with, I gotta know me before I can build me and develop me.
And everything he said, he got out of my pocket.
That's exactly.
I wrote the notes down.
Absolutely.
And
I stole
them.
He stole your line.
The one, last, the one who goes first.
Yes.
You know, that's the way it always is, buddy. And I want to thank you.
I know.
Well, I know.
Some of my best thinking has been done by others, including you, Les, and including you, Paul. Some of my best thinking has been done by.
Well, I know you've trained thousands of speakers.
Yes.
You have a program that teaches that. What would you say? What would you say?
I'll say to them exactly what John just said. Be yourself. I'm the only speaker. I'm 69. I don't look it. I don't dye my hair because I have an allergic reaction to dye. But I use mascara to cover the gray. I do this all the time, right on stage.
I need a little,
No, you need a paintbrush.
mascara is a little small.
That's right.
I need a kind of a broad, and probably a paper size.
But when I take my mascara out and put it on, people just say, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
But you've got to be comfortable
Absolutely.
in your skin in order to do that. And so when you are speaking from your heart, when you're being authentic, and the other thing that's key for new speakers, I say to you, don't let what you want to say get in the way of what the audience needs to hear. You know, and all that get
That's so
understanding.
good.
Yeah, find out what it is that they're looking for and how you can craft a message to create an experience so that when they leave your presence, a lot of speakers never make it because they have speeches that are content driven.
Yes.
If information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. Okay, so
I
you
love
want to
that.
create
That's
an
true.
experience. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was.
That's very, very true. And you know, once you, Les, are comfortable with you, the people can be comfortable with you.
Yes.
The audience can never be comfortable with the speaker until the speaker's comfortable with himself or herself.
Yeah.
And you're so right on as far as connecting with the people and finding out where they are. I've always said that professional speakers, they're content driven. They're going out and saying, okay, I hope I do well. I hope they like what I say. I hope they really like me.
Yeah.
Great communicators. They're going out and saying, I like you.
Yes.
I like what you want to hear. And it's a total different world. And again, Les, you know it, Paul. That audience in 5 minutes figures it out.
Yeah.
They figure out if you're wanting to help them or if you're wanting to help yourself. And there's a world of difference between those two.
Well, I know you both are continual learners. I know that. I know that you read and file every day. You memorize quotes all the time. And that has to be part of the game too. I would imagine
Yes.
sharpening the saw.
Oh, absolutely. You cannot give what you do not have. So, hey, fill it up, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Fill it up before you let it flow. Don't go out there with an empty tank.
No.
Again, how long does that take for somebody to know you got an empty tank? About 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
Or your second speech.
You know you're in trouble when the best part of your day was your introduction. When everybody says, boy, that was the highlight. Man, after they introduced him, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't get any better. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that true?
Yes, absolutely. It really is true. Yeah, it is. When you look at what we do, it's a gift. And because it's a gift, there's nothing to be arrogant about. It implies a giver. And we are vessels that are being used to help people to get a larger vision of themselves beyond their circumstances and mental conditioning. And people come to us and say, hey, you changed my life. And what I say to myself, and I'm sure you do, is thank you, Lord, for using me today to speak to them, because it's never us. We are just being used at that moment.
Les, you know, in fact, Fred Smith told me this many years ago, the gift is greater than the person.
Yes.
And so many times when somebody watches a good communicator, they get carried away with how good they are. And they begin to think, well, that person's that great. And I always want to stop. I want to stop saying, no, I'm very human. I just blow it like you blow it and make a lot of mistakes. The gift is what's awesome.
Yes.
And don't get the two of them confused at all. And I know this, when I remember that, then I'm always grateful.
Well,
This is an exciting thing. Tell us a little bit, for those, now you've impacted millions of people. So for those that maybe haven't, heard of you, which I would find surprising,
Next year will be 50 years. I'm 74 now. I used to think people in their 40s were old. Now that I'm 74, I feel like I was shining shoes at the Lord's Supper.
That's awesome. So give us a little bit of your history, a little bit of the background.
Well, I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. And when we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. Whenever I give a presentation, now I say that I stand on the stage because of two women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And so Mama, Mrs. Mamie Brown, she only had a third grade education. She never had any children. And she worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. She cooked for them. And we ate food left over from the families that she cooked for. And she kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And so when I was in the 5th grade, I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and I failed again in the 8th grade. But I met a high school teacher that was very much like you, TJ, a person who had energy and a passion to transform people's lives. And he asked me to work out a problem. I told him I couldn't do it. He insisted. So I said, sir, I'm not one of your students. He said, do it anyhow. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. I said, what do you mean? He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart, but he's DT. And he said, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And they erupted in laughter. And he came from behind his desk when I said, I am, sir. And he looked at me and he said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And he interrupted my vision of myself. As you know, TJ, how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. Some psychologists call their self-explanatory style. And he interrupted that. And that's what your program does. That if the people who come, they have a story they believe about themselves, and you interrupt that story and expand their vision with your guests, with your knowledge, with your experience, and with your communication style, and dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to make new choices with their lives. So that's why I'm excited and honored to be on your program.
Oh, that's really great, because you're right, that explanatory style, we set up blind spots that tell us we can't do this, or we listen to what people say, and we believe in some of those things sometimes, and it's not true. Right?
Absolutely. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing, even if it's a lie. And so what happens and why what the work that you're doing is so important, particularly when you consider we live in the greatest country in the world, yet and still, since 1999, suicide rate in the United States has increased over 25%. And I tell you, I still have not gotten over the suicide of Robin Williams and Anthony Bourdain. It has been a very challenging experience. I can't even watch the old movies when they come on of a guy that I admired so very much who took his life. And Anthony Bourdain, I knew him, just a very nice guy. Mm-hmm. But I believe today, and where my life is training messengers of hope. I mean, the speaking industry has been hijacked by people speak to sell. I speak to transform lives. And I believe you transform people's lives. They're going to want to purchase your products, but let that be the primary goal that motivates and inspires you. And so I believe right now, your program, your mindset, your level of consciousness, that this type of message is important. Why? Because it gives people hope. This program gives people hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. People who take their lives, they look at the situation they're dealing with, and they feel overwhelmed. They just feel, I can't handle this anymore, or this pain is just too great. And then they hear a TJ, that we all, I believe, have an energy signature. There are some people that when we speak, you're going to hear both of us, but there are certain people, because of your energy signature, TJ, that when you speak, there's something about your voice, something about you, that it will trigger something in them, that they will hear you not just in their ears, but in their heart and in their spirit. And as a result of them hearing you, their lives will never be the same again. So my goal is to multiply and create thousands of messengers of hope and helping people to begin to be exposed to these voices so that we can begin to bring in a new world order.